to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon!
With 2 seconds on the clock, he hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it! The Ducks have won!
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
Dante will dribble it out! The Ducks are Pac-12 tournament champions!
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Welcome into the Country Financial Studio on a Thursday. Ryan Milano here holding it down for you on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union, and that's because Joey is on the road with Oregon baseball. Ducks going down to Southern California to play against UCLA to recontinue their Pac-12 season after they had 5 consecutive non-conference games in the middle of their Pac-12 slate due to the bye week just occurring when it did. So Oregon baseball, they'll be in action tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Oregon softball will be in action against Washington tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. Some Oregon Duck pro Ducks right now, Ducks that are currently on the team, but, well, amateur Ducks, I guess. They're playing at Augusta National in the amateur tournament, and the Ducks are out there and competing as we speak right now as Skiara Romero continues to blister through her weekend and her nice start. She opened up as the leader for the first 9 holes, closed out her opening round with a 1 under. She's in the mix up near the top of the 3 Ducks in competition at Augusta in that Augusta National Amateur. Also, we're hearing from Oregon football as they're back onto the practice field. This is spring practice number 4 today, hearing from Chris Hampton, the defensive backs coach, as well as a few other student athletes, depending on how much time we get to. They'll either be on the show today or on the show tomorrow. Also, Coach Jess Drummond of Oregon lacrosse met with Joey yesterday as they prepare to go up against a top 25 team in USC out at Pat Bay Field coming up on Saturday. Also, Oregon acrobatics and tumbling going up against Baylor this weekend. It's a packed week in Oregon athletics across the board. Oregon softball media, we can't get to it today. They spoke with the media yesterday. We'll get to that on the show tomorrow. Today, we're starting with football. Ducks back on the practice field once again. It's spring practice number 4. We're starting with the defense. Co-defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach Chris Hampton, he's got a new group with his squad, as there's been a whole lot of defensive back kind of reshuffling with a bunch of pro Ducks now going to the league, hoping to get drafted later this month. Guys like Steve Stevens, you got Bennett Williams, Evan Williams, his brother. Bennett Williams was on the team 2 years ago. Evan Williams about to get hopefully drafted, and a whole bunch of other turnover in that defensive back group. Tysheem Johnson taking an increased role, as well as a few transfers coming in, a few young guys coming in. And so we get to hear from the defensive backs coach who just spoke with the media about an hour ago. Just off the practice field, it's Chris Hampton. Here's Coach.
Head of responsibility of the corners, and is the room now like 20 guys deep, or do you meet with them separately, or how do you handle it?
We meet together. I meet with all the DBs, corners, safety, stars. So we have one meeting, so it's really the big change. I've got a bunch of help, though. Rashad Wadood does a ton with our corners. I've got 2 guys, Antonio Parks and Connor Boyd, who work with me in the help building meetings and doing off-season studies and things like that from a film standpoint. So I've got a lot of help, but we have one meeting.
When you had the prominent guys that you do in Kobe and Cam and Jabbar, just how different is your secondary? Yes, you lose Kyrie, but you bring in 3 of the most prominent transfers you guys added in the offseason.
Yes, it's a blessed and fortunate situation, really. All guys have played football at a high level. they played a lot of football, so they've got a lot of experience. It's just different for them now learning our terminology and our system. But it's really a fortunate situation for me. I've got guys that play a lot of football, and it's been a challenge. And I've just got to translate it to some things today because football is the same, right? Just different terminology depending on the team you play for. And so putting it in, making sure they understand what we call things here compared to what they call it at other places. And that's been the challenging part.
Back to your kind of new responsibility. Had you had background before being a DB's coach with the whole room? And so what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've kind of always did that. When I was at McNeese State University, I coached all 5 DBs. That was 2012 to 15. When I was at Tulane in 2018 and 19, I had all the DBs. Actually, when I was the DC at Tulane, I had the entire secondary. I had some guys that worked with me, but we had one DB meeting, and I was the defense coordinator. So I've done it before, so it wasn't the first time. A lot of people do it this way. It's really good as far as everybody being on the same page, one voice. We have guys now that can play multiple positions because we have one meeting, so the terminology and the language that's spoken is the same. So it's kind of easy to move guys around and play different positions.
Is it almost your preference to do it this way?
Yeah, I mean, at the end, yes. If you ask me honestly, yeah, that would be my preference to do it that way. But you can do it both ways. I've done it both, but if you ask me preferably, I would rather do it this way. Yeah.
What's your relationship like with Rashad, and then how does that work on kind of a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, great relationship. He and I, we get together a lot on what we're going to do individual. There's times that, like today, the first part of practice I was with the safeties, then I went with him at the second part with the corners. So he and I get together and collaborate on what we're going to do doing individual. He's watching the corners specifically. He does a lot of correction meetings with him. I do a lot of the install meetings. That's kind of how we do it. I let him do a lot of the correction tape. I do the installations. So we kind of just bounce ideas off each other. He's doing a really good job with them. He's been in the system. He's been here, I think, his 3rd year now. So he understands what we're doing.
What's the cross training like at this level during the spring? Like, how much are you guys doing it? Is it everybody, or is it just a handful of guys?
No, it's not. We got a lot of guys who've came in, like you said, a lot of guys who've transferred in. So I want them to master some first. But in the spring we play safeties left and right. We play corners left and right. We play some guys at safety and star. Play some guys at corner and star. And the guys who've been here for a while, they can definitely do more. So we try to definitely cross train on sides for sure. Not as much at positions. With some guys we do, the guys who've been here, the more experienced guys. The younger guys, like the freshmen, try to let them learn corner or safety or star, but they will play both sides.
What is it about Jabbar that intrigued you guys so much? What about his skill set made you want him here?
Yeah, I mean, he's really, really competitive. He's got great ball skills, elite transitions, change of direction. He's a competitor. At the end of the day, anyone that we talked to about him, from his high school coaches to the coaches at Oklahoma State to some guys at Washington, they all talked about how much he competes and loves the game and goes about his process. And he's only been here for, this is his first week because of the new semester. And but I mean, he's been a joy. And he did a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff over the course of the last few months.
What's the development for Taisheem from year 1 to year 2 now in the system?
The biggest thing I've seen of him is he's became an elite communicator. Taisheem's always been a really, really good tackler, loves football, warrior, tough. He's everything you would want in a football player. I think now in his 2nd year in the system, he's much more confident. He knows what we're going to install, before we do it. And he's just became an elite communicator and a leader. I think last year, coming in his first year here, he didn't say a whole bunch as from a leadership standpoint, but I've heard him be more vocal this year, which is something that we need.
How much did some of the staff connections back to UTSA help with Cam and getting that evaluation?
I don't know as much. I know Antonio Parks was there before. Right. Will Stein was there, but I don't think he was there. I think he only played 1 season at UTSA. He was actually at Sam Houston State before that. So, but I just think he just got in the portal, and once he got in, he had some options, and he came out here and visited. And, it's hard not to like this place. You come out and visit.
What about Cam's skill set? Kind of made him a good fit for you guys' system.
Yeah, he's really fast. First thing, he's fast. He's got really good ball skills. He's tough. I've seen him come up in these first 2 practices we've had in pass and just thud people. I think he's going to be a tremendous asset to us. He's got really good change of direction. And the other thing about him is he takes really good notes in meetings. Really, really good notes. Asks good questions. So he's been fun to coach.
You get a lot of young guys at the deep safety group in particular. What is that? How are the 2nd and 3rd groups kind of separating themselves so far, and who's kind of mixing with who and working with who so far?
It's kind of hard to tell now. So like in the spring, And in fall camp, we really don't do 1s, 2s, or 3s. We do green and yellow teams. I'm sure you guys have heard about this. So we do a green and yellow, mix guys up. So a lot of guys get reps. Ty Sheen will be with a freshman, et cetera, et cetera. Kobe's with a freshman. They haven't been together. So we just kind of mix the guys up and let them play. But I think the young guys have shown a lot of promise. Just me from last year coming in, first year in the system, learning the terminology. So I was in their shoes last year, and I've been around a whole lot more football than they have, obviously. I was like, man, I was kind of a little bit overwhelmed. And these guys are they're catching on really, really good. I think we've got a really good group. There's no one that I'm like, man, I hate we signed this guy. I like them all so far, and they've done a really good job. And they're smart, pretty smart kids, and they really should be in high school right now.
Do you expect Jaleel, or I know Rod is splitting up with track, but do you expect much of them here in the spring, or is Jaleel just recovering?
We may get some out of him later on in the spring. He's out there now doing some of the walkthrough stuff with us, but that's about it right now. But I think his rehab's going pretty good now from talking to Chief and talking to Jaleel. He's in a much better space than what he was about a month ago. So I expect we may be able to get some out of him here at the end of spring.
What's the ceiling with Jaleel just coming off last year?
The ceiling? Oh, man, he's got a lot of potential. I mean, Jaleel's long. He's got change the direction. If he just can stay healthy, last year he got hurt, but I think he was starting to, plays a true freshman. Last year he was coming on, started a bunch of games, and then got injured. But I think that Jaleel's ceiling, he could be an NFL player. I mean, he's really, really good. I think so. He can tackle. He's pretty smart, honestly. He can play inside or outside. We did a little bit of that in practice last year, not as much in games. But I'm really high on Jaleel. We just got to make sure that he gets back healthy.
What's it been like for your group, kind of getting used to playing against Dylan Gabriel? Obviously left-handed, a little bit of skill set difference from Bo. What's it been like for you guys?
It's been good. I think I've been impressed watching Dylan. I had the opportunity to play against him at Tulane when he was at Central Florida. Really talented quarterback. I think our guys have accepted the challenge. Our offense every day gives us a challenge. I don't know where we were last year, 2 or 3 in the country in total offense. I mean, so every day it's a challenge, but I enjoy it. It makes us better because we see a variety of things from our offense. We got a lot of good players, so it's been good every day for us.
There's definitely guys added a corner in particular, allow you guys to do a little bit more in dime than you may have repped it last year, but we really didn't see it in games as much, Chris.
Yeah, I hope we can. That's kind of the hope, is that we can utilize these guys' skill sets. We've got a bunch of them. We got some really good players. I'm really fired up about our corner group, and I think the more guys we can get on the field, the better. And I think it'll help us in pass coverage for sure.
With a lot of guys with experience between Dante, Nico, Sione comes in from JUCO. Just how much separation do you want to see them on that group? Would you prefer if they are all, I guess in an ideal world, they're all great, they're all packed in together, but do you want to see a separation clearly between them? Or
no, I think the competition is good for them. I think it's making them better, and each and every day they're working together, and they're not there's not any animosity amongst them. I think they're competing at a high level against each other and making each other better. They're coaching each other. I think that, the more the merrier. If you look at last season, guys get banged up throughout the season, and you're going to need them. You're going to need those fresh legs. And, if we plan on playing as many games as we can, I don't know how many you can go now, 15 or 16, I guess, a bunch of games. So you're going to need guys. And we've got a lot of talent and a lot of experience. We just got to, continue to develop them and get them to reach their maximum potential.
Where does it?
Go ahead.
Where does Dalen Austin kind of fit into the picture at this point?
Yeah, I tell you what, Dalen's having a really good spring. He really is. He can play star and he can play corner for us. He's doing both. Really, really fired up about his development and how he's getting better and better. I think he can have a big season for us.
That's defensive backs coach Chris Hampton talking about the new look Oregon defensive backfield. New look in a few ways. There's some new coaches around in different roles that have been promoted throughout the Oregon system, as well as some new players that are being utilized in a few different ways, and a few new look players onto this new defensive backfield for Coach Hampton. That interview brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. We have a lot of student-athlete interviews from football over, the interviews that went on today, as well as continuing to close out the interviews from Tuesday, because we haven't been able to get to them all. There's just been so many of them. So we're going to get to as many as we can in today's show, as well as tomorrow's show. But we also are talking lacrosse. Jess Drummond's squad coming off their first Pac-12 win, going up against a top 25 USC team at Pape Field this weekend. The conversation between Jess Drummond and Joey Mack, that's what's coming up next. It's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union here inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Ryan Milano holding it down. Joey Mack on the road with Oregon baseball, who just left to go down to Southern California to play against UCLA. He caught up with women's lacrosse coach Jess Drummond yesterday, and they recorded on a Wednesday, but I think that they knew that this interview was going to be aired on a Thursday because it's Throwback Thursday. I didn't dress up for the occasion. I should have. I should have brought out my retro gear. Yeah, my bad. Missed opportunity by me. But Joey knew, Jess knew, Throwback Thursday, and they were prepared for the occasion. Here's the conversation between Joey Mack and Jess Drummond ahead of another home Pac-12 weekend for Oregon lacrosse.
Jess Drummond is here in the studio, folks. Hey, let's start with the most important thing of the day. Fabulous sweatshirt choice today.
Thank you.
So what's the closet for you look like now, and how much of it from the student-athlete days has lasted until you became the head coach?
Probably 5 items.
That's
I know.
pretty good.
And my Letterman's still my favorite.
Well, yeah.
That's a OG.
You can never get rid of that.
Never. But I've got a few, and some of the players are like, whoa, where'd you get that? I was like, 2009.
Yeah.
So on team issued.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. And now it's more bright green. It was a little darker back then. So
I loved that green.
I do too. Sometimes I whip it out, but I just
the dark green.
In practices.
I mean, there's been multiple Oregon greens. We've seen the neon at one point. The midnight green is now very popular.
Yeah.
And then the throwback green is slightly different from the new apple green, formerly known as Kelly green.
Did I tell you I thought Chip Kelly came up with that Kelly green, so I told everyone it was Chip Kelly green.
Well,
is that true?
You're not completely
So
inaccurate.
I told everyone Chip Kelly green. That's what I call it.
It was in the Chip Kelly era that we moved to that green, so that was the Kelly green. It kind of looks like,
Yeah. So I tell everyone.
So you're right. Yeah. But no, the throwback.
When I was at Vermont,
those of you who are not watching the show, it's the interlocking UO throwback sweatshirt. Just it's a great sweatshirt. Sweatshirt. So do you have so you said you have 5 pieces.
Yeah.
How many did you have when you graduated?
A lot.
So you had to get selective when you.
Yes.
went in your coaching career, you're not wearing Oregon gear every day anymore.
Unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, I had a bin at home, and when I got a job at Dartmouth, my mom had it, and then after Dartmouth, got a job at Vermont, and she's like, you need to take this bin. Like, you need to take it. It's done. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. I'm not moving home, and I can take some of my stuff. And so it was this full bin, a lot of stuff, and I just was like, I ended up donating half of it.
Ugh.
I know. But some of it had like holes and worn out because I wore everything
you were playing.
I'm working out in it, and it's going on a loop, and so yeah. I know. But it was anything I was obsessed with. Like, I've got still some OG camo. I have all of that, like the very cool stuff. So all the jackets I kept.
So we do our conversations on Wednesdays. I feel like you need to do a Throwback Thursday with a few of these.
Okay, that's a great
us.
idea.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
I think that stuff's fun because I have gotten to the point. I am nowhere near Coach Radcliffe. Right. No one can get anywhere close to Coach Radcliffe.
No.
And this man keeps his stuff in great, great shape. If anyone has ever seen it, if you see him walking around with like the most awesome tracksuit from the 80s, that's Coach Radcliffe. And it still looks brand new. I don't know how he does it.
Me either.
But I'm now with like the various eras, to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Throwback Thursday, it could be a thing.
Okay. Great.
Okay. We're going to do this. Jess Drummond here with us. Have you ever been a part of, in your playing or coaching career, a 10-1 quarter?
Not off the top of my head right now.
Okay, well, you did over the weekend against UC Davis. I mean, getting out to a 10-1 lead in the first quarter. First Pac-12 win. Congratulations, by the way, in your career. What was that like, getting out to the quick start? How did you pull that off?
It was so fun, and I felt just so proud of them, of all the work they put in the week. We've been talking about it all week, being locked in, and just how important this game was to us of getting that win. And it wasn't more about who our opponent was. It was about how we showed up and we played. And I just wanted us to feel really proud leaving Pape that we played Oregon lacrosse. And we did.
So I heard you mention afterwards that like you were proud of the preparation, right? As a coach, do you know, like, going into a game, like, honestly, I've always wondered this.
Okay, so going into that game, I was like, if we play how we practice, we're going to dominate this game.
All right.
Yes.
And you did.
And we did. And I just crossed my fingers. I've done all that I can, and it's just going to be how they show up that day.
So you knew.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
But I just knew we had.
Feeling.
Yes, it's like I also just wanted it for them so badly, of just that reward of how hard they worked all week.
For sure.
And the success they found in practice to happen on game day.
So what was it in practice? Like, what gave you the good feeling?
We made it a really competitive week. And so any drill we did was competitive. There was somebody who won, somebody who lost, and just instilling that drive to win.
So the UC Davis, just to put this in perspective for everybody, the UC Davis goalkeeper had the highest save percentage in the Pac-12 coming in.
Mm-hmm.
She does not anymore.
No.
I mean, just the offensive onslaught. Like,
yeah.
What do you say to the team when you're up 10-1 at the quarter break?
Well, first, I'll rewind a little,
because
we get 3 goals, they call a timeout, and that just fires our team up. You're calling a timeout to cancel momentum, and I was like, fuel this fire, keep going, all gas. And then they called another timeout in the first quarter. So to use 2 of your 3 timeouts in the first quarter, just rallied. They're like, we're in this. And so for me, I was just so proud of them to be so locked in, because we had honestly struggled scoring out of timeouts in past games. And so that was a big focus for us going to this game. Any moment there's a timeout or media timeout, let's get out there and be the first to score.
So do you say anything as a coach during those timeouts, or do you just let them go be fired up? Like, how do you gauge what to say?
I try not to let them get too hot of like, okay, let's bring it back down. What worked?
What are the tactics?
Yes. Let's talk about what actually worked, how we scored, what our opportunities are going to look like moving forward, getting prepared for them on what they could throw back at us.
Yeah. 17 goals in the win over UC Davis. After a 6-1 non-conference slate, had to feel good to get the first Pac-12 win. I should ask you about that. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling, right?
It was. And I really, like I said, I really wanted them to walk off that field feeling so proud of the effort that they put in for that week to end up with that result.
Offensively, to again put this in perspective, the most goals for the program against a Pac-12 opponent since 2018. So just fist bump for that.
Here we go.
You know, that's awesome. So we talking about like the prep leading up. Now, how do you continue momentum the week later? Like now coming off that win, you don't want them to get too high.
No,
right?
no.
So what's the balancing act there?
So I think I've said this before on the show. Of every practice right after a game, we talk about our takeaways. We talk about things that we need to improve and things that we did really well. So that always kind of just like recenters us. And my biggest message this week, and I've told them this, is like, you have one win. That's it. Like, we've got a lot more left in this season. So to me, it's every day is going to be a grind, giving 1% more each day to continue to elevate this program.
I have this. So the camera wasn't looking at
I
me.
know you made
right?
a face.
When so I have this idea now that your team's sitting in there like, all right, team meeting after the win. And then you're like, that's one. And they're like.
No, I said it on Tuesday. I gave them high vibes on a Monday, and Tuesday we started a little slow in practice, and I was like, whoa, timeout. You can't just walk out and expect to win.
But isn't that, I mean, that's such the roller coaster of a season, right? Like you have to maintain some level throughout. That's got to be a challenge sometimes.
It is, and I wanted them to recognize what they did that week in prep and got the result, and bring that each time we go out to practice and not just kind of show up and go through the motions. It took a lot of work to get that win.
We've talked about a few individuals over the course of the season, and I wanted to hit on a couple coming off the weekend. Haley Cummins has a hat trick.
Yeah.
I mean, hat tricks are fun, right?
Yeah.
So I have a thought, okay? So anytime you get a hat trick in hockey, we're throwing hats on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I realize it's more common in lacrosse. Do you have like hat tricks that we can put like in the locker, like hats to put in the locker rooms for me? There's got to be something. There's something fun there, right?
Yeah, the sideline gets hype if the first game someone had a hat trick and somebody took my hat and threw it up in the air.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, and I honestly was confused. I was like, wait, what's happening? They're like, hat trick, and I was like, oh, well done. And so now they'll throw their hats on the sideline or like just toss them in the air.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great.
So
I
that's
love that.
cute.
So that means that this weekend, when you're tuning in, when you see the hats fly in the air, I hadn't seen that. I'll be honest with you. I haven't caught that.
Sometimes they're wearing hats, sometimes they're not. Maybe
now, fans, keep an eye on the hats. Beanies could count from earlier in the year, right? To that point, when you have a big goal, and I understand that like that's the mission in sports is to score, but I often feel like the passing gets forgotten. And I wanted to ask you about that, especially with how you coach your team.
Yeah.
Because I thought Lauren Rasmani, I mean, every week it seems like dishing out assist after assist after assist. What do you see there? How does it help your offense?
Yeah, we always talk about it is a team offense set. Like, it's not going to be just that person that scored the goal. Yes, they're the one that finished the job, but it took a lot of other people on that field to make that happen. So we talk about people who clear space as also being really helpful, like making that alley lane or the creating space for them to dodge into, finding those feeders. Like, Lo Riz is such a quarterback for this team. Like, she just loves to feed people goals, and you need those kind of people on your team to kind of spread it out.
Defensively, too, I know you were happy with some takeaways from the weekend.
Yep.
Moving forward, what do you want to see from your defense? Where do you think you're at?
Yeah, I just want us to continue to play confident. I think we had great discipline in that game of like who held the body, who went for the check. So whenever we had a double team, I just love how aggressive we are in pressuring teams outside the 12 meters. So that's us being up above those little lines on the field, just explaining it for people. And just a lot of connective unity. That's just kind of key for us on defense.
All right, so USC coming up this weekend.
Yep.
USC's 3-0 in conference. Kind of a big one.
It's a big one. It is a big one. Yes.
So I didn't look at you as I said that because I was like, this is one of those where, like, is a coach going to be mad at me for saying that out loud? Like, no, this is huge.
It's awareness. It's awareness. Yes.
Yeah.
It is huge, and we have a great opportunity for us again on Pape to defend Pape and playing USC.
Yeah. So what's the scouting report? I mean, what should fans expect from USC?
Yeah, they run a zone, which is great that UC Davis swapped to a zone coming second quarter, so that really prepped us. You never know what teams
they had
throw
to
at
do
you.
something.
Yeah. After 10-1, you got to switch something up.
Right.
So yeah.
Anyway,
good coaching call. Yeah, Sue, she's great. And so USC runs their zone, so just kind of prepping for that and maybe seeing some more feeds and more team offense sets happening of like you can't just have 1v1 Dodger. You're going to have people out there all working together. And they've got a lot of threats on offense too, so being able to stop them with their speed is going to be key.
Noon, Saturday, Pape Field, USC in town. Big one in the Pac-12 standings. And I mean, I say it's big, but the reason it's big, Pac-12 postseason, this all really matters here moving forward.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, can't say it any better than that. Yep, that's it. That's it right there. A big one in the overall context of the season. What do you want to see? Some keys to success. Sum it up for fans.
For this game on Saturday? Yeah, I just would love for us to start how we did on Saturday. Like, all about Oregon, all about us, how we show up, and defending Pape.
Jess Drummond.
Here we go.
Throwback Thursday. But, like, not the throwback recreation.
Some
real
OG,
throwbacks coming up. Hey,
Great.
best of luck this weekend.
Thanks so much.
Looking forward to tuning in. Pac-12 Network, noon Saturday, Ducks and Trojans at Pape Field.
It's Throwback Thursday today here on Duck Insider with that conversation between Joey Mack and Jess Drummond. Jess's team will be out at Pape Field on Saturday at noon to go up against USC, one of the top teams in the conference in the Pac-12, a team that has had a lot of momentum. Oregon trying to stifle that momentum. If you're going out to Pape Field, bring a hat. You never know when you might have to use it, throw it, shield from the sun. You never know. Hats can be versatile, especially when hat tricks are involved. Also, I love watching those videos with Joey because I'm not sure if people noticed this. This is a little inside Duck Insider, Duck Super Insider. We have this football back behind the desk. It almost, Joey and I like to fidget, and so it's almost like a stress ball for us. And well, I always utilized it, and I knew that Joey had utilized it at points, but that's the first time I've seen him actually kind of fiddle with it for a whole interview. So if you see Joey or I playing with something, we do this on the baseball broadcast all the time. We have baseballs up in the booth that we're just kind of tossing up to ourselves the whole time. And Joey and I are both a little fidgety people, and we like to just have something to play with in our hands. And well, this football is it here in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider. We still are getting around to more football interviews from the rest of the day today. Tez Johnson met with the media. Josh Connerly met with the media. Justin Jacobs met with the media. Spin the wheel. Roulette. Who are we going to get next? I don't know. We'll figure it out in the break. Coming back on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union here inside the Country Financial Studio. It's spring practices for Oregon football. It's football season already. It's sort of football season. It's one of the football seasons, and someone who decided to come back for this year is wide receiver Tez Johnson. And Tez, he had a decision to make whether he was going to come back or return to Oregon, and he decided to come back and be a leader on this team. He talked about that with me. They also talked about how a righty throw is a little bit different from a lefty throw. Let's hear him talk about it. Here's Tez Johnson.
Like getting used to Dylan's throwing style and just kind of working with him early on.
Pretty much it's the same. The rotation is different, but pretty much it's the same when you throw the ball. I mean, just got to go up and grab it. He throw a pretty good ball, though. We just know when we on the right side, it's going to drift away from us. We on his left side, it's going to drift to us. Other than that, it's a good ball.
Do you have much experience catching balls from a lefty?
Not really, but we're getting it in right now.
Is that something where it takes just like a day or two to get it down and you kind of get used to it?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like just a day or two, just a couple throws, and you be like, oh, okay. You're more right hand dominant than your left, because from a right hand quarterback, it's gonna hit more of your left hand than your right. So,
what's it been like just from a personality kind of day-to-day standpoint, getting used to him when obviously you guys were so used to playing with Bo last year?
He's funny. If y'all don't know, Dylan Gabriel is a total goofball. Like, he's all for the team. He's a goofy guy. He's a kid in the locker room, but he's also good people. Like, when it's time to put work in, you're going to put the work in, and we like that about a quarterback. So,
take us into the first trip down to SoCal with him and the guys back in January of just what that's like when obviously you know your brother's moving on. So, like, all right, there's going to be a new guy, but I think before classes even started, you were down there working with him. So just what all went into that? How many hours were you guys on the field?
We was out there for a week. We was out there every day for like 4 hours, 5 hours consistently. It was really good. I knew right then and there, like when I went out there to Cali with him, that he mean business. So me giving him my all is everything to him, and we consider him as a brother, which he is our brother. So we're gonna fight for him every day. But his work ethic is crazy. Him and Bo's work ethic is crazy. Like, they don't get tired of the little things. So, like, he always willing to get better. So.
Y'all did that again during spring break, right?
Mm-hmm. Went down there twice.
You got a couple of practices now alongside Evan. What's it been like to play with him? What have you seen from him?
He's shorter than what I thought. He's shorter than what I thought. I thought he was really big. He's a big guy. He's a thicker guy, but he's short. But he's an athlete, shifty, twitchy, can go up and get it like a big guy, like a DK. He's funny too. He's a really good guy.
With Evan here now that your room is kind of complete for the season, you might add a couple more in the summer. But how would you just describe the room and your guys' goals kind of going through spring ball and into next season?
To be the best on the field at all times, no matter what, no matter who's on the field, be the best, and we're gonna stand behind each and every person in that room, from Justice to Kyler, Trayshawn, Gary Bryant, Evan, like all those guys. We're gonna stand behind them, no matter what, who's on the field at all times. Like, we're gonna stand behind them.
How was a highly productive season? Where do you get better at next? What's your focus?
Everything. I take it little by little, be where my feet are, but I just want to get better at everything. Whatever coaches tell me to get better at, that's my goal for each day. Whatever they challenge me with every time, that's my goal. Whether it's weight, whether it's, okay, block this DN right here, and this is Jordan Birch. Okay, suck it up. I got to go get Jordan Birch. All right, like, those are things I take pride in.
We talk about Dylan. What does Dante bring to this QB room, or what have you seen from him so far?
He throw a really good ball, too. He's really good. Dante, he's very intelligent, very smart, because he played really early. He knows what defenses that Coach Landon is already in right now, because Coach Landon is a little tricky with his little defense, like disguise things, but he'll point it out. Me and him pointed out both right before we snapped the ball, like, hey, okay, Dante, there it is. All right, we got you. Be right here, and he's going to put the ball right there. So Dante and Dylan, those two guys are really smart. Like,
how is Jurion different now compared to the guy who showed up back in, I want to say, July or August?
How is he different?
Yeah.
He learning the plays way better. He's actually teaching the plays to the younger guy that just came in. Even though he's a young guy, he's teaching it to the freshman that just came in, which is really big on his part, because us older guys, when we first got here, we tried to get Jurion to know the playbook fast. We tried to force it on him, and it was kind of hectic for him at first, but he knew we was trying to help him. So now that he's teaching the little guys, us older guys see that and like really admire that he's doing that.
You've been on that uniform committee this offseason with Kenny Farr. What's that experience been like for you?
Oh, we got some heat coming. Generation O, we got some heat coming. we got some heat coming. Just stay tuned.
For you personally, what kind of decision was there to be made this offseason in terms of maybe entering the draft like Bo and coming back? Was that a long deliberation for you and knew what went into some of that?
No, it was a pretty quick decision for me to come back. It was like I didn't come to Oregon just to be here for just 1 year. It's my dream school. I want to fulfill everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Austin Stadium, you can't get no better than Austin Stadium. That's why I came back. And I also want to do it just because there's still a lot of doubt out there that I can play. You know what I'm saying? I showed it once, but I want to actually show it again to the world. And in my career, I done played in 3 different conferences, like Sun Belt to Pac-12. Now it's going to be the Big Ten, and this is going to be no doubt that I can play ball. So,
what's it for the 4 freshmen so far?
For the freshmen, I've seen a lot. Ryan Pelican get deep fast. It's really good. Ryan Pelican is really good. Jack Wrestler is really good. He's a smart guy. He's the brains of the operation. Like, if you don't know what you're doing, Jack Wrestler know. Like, he's really good. All the freshmen been doing really good. Like, all of them coming in willing to learn. J Mack is doing really good. He's a bigger guy too. That I did not know. He's big. Like, J Mack is a little chubby guy, beefy. Yeah, he's a really good guy. But there's a lot of guys in those rooms that are really good. I've seen a lot from Justice. Justice doing really good, and I think this is going to be his best year yet.
What have you seen from Trayshawn this offseason?
Trayshawn Holden?
Yeah.
He's been getting really good. He knows a little bit more now. He came in and was like kind of hesitant, but now he's taking that role of a leader, and that's what we needed for him in that room too, because he's older than me, and I'm younger than Trayshawn, and the stuff that he says in the meeting room you can actually take from, because he just seen a lot from Bama. He played under Saban. He knows a lot, so we take that and put that in our bag and run with it. He's really good.
You were one of a lot of transfers that came in last year, and a lot of you guys decided to come back. Just between last year when you were trying to figure it all out, figure out the system, and now, how much more comfortable are you, and how much are you able to kind of be more of a leader this year to kind of replace those voices that are hopefully going to get drafted here in a couple weeks?
Far as like being comfortable under Coach Lannon, you're never comfortable. But taking that role as a leader it's a big role to take, because I've never been in that situation before. But I definitely stepped into it and took it head on and attacked it. Me personally, I challenged everybody on the team, mainly Terrence Ferguson, to be more vocal. Pat Herbert, as you know, he's a quiet guy. He's big, be more vocal. Jordan Birch, all those guys that played last year, allowed them to be more vocal. Let's be a player-led team other than a coaches-led team, because they're not that playing. We are. We're playing the game. So we wanted those guys to be more vocal, and me just challenging those guys, they challenged me back. And one thing I know from being a leader, if you're going to be a leader, but you got to also be able to take bullets from your teammates, what they see in your downfalls, and being able to suck it up and be like, okay, I got to get better at this. You can't let your teammates see this, because if they see this, all right, they think they can do it. So
go back to last month. What did Pro Day mean to you? Or like, several of you guys are out there, you get to show scout stuff before, but to work out with Bo in that setting, for Pat to be here, for that opportunity that was like, it's pretty rare for a family occasion to be in front of 30 NFL teams.
Yeah, it was, for me personally, I just wanted to show that the NFL guys that I can run good routes, have good hands, show my speed off, which, I mean, everybody know I have speed. For Bo, I wanted to make him look good as always. But it was really good. Never been in front of that many NFL. I was kind of nervous at first, like it was my pro day, but it was really for the other guys out there. Just having fun with those guys for the last time, knowing I'm not going to see them. I'll see Bucky here in a minute, but other than that, just having fun in front of those coaches, just showing off my skill set.
That's really great context from Tez Johnson. Even though he wasn't one of the players that was necessarily featured in the pro day as someone who is eligible for this year's NFL draft because he didn't declare, well, it's still an opportunity for him to get in front of NFL scouts and showcase that he can be a professional football player. I think that is really insightful stuff from Tez Johnson, a leader on the offensive skill position side of things. And from one offensive leader to another, we're hearing from Josh Connerly, a leader on the Oregon offensive line, when we come back on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Spring Showers, these tough Toyotas can handle whatever you got. The rugged Tacoma, trail-ready 4Runner, and the versatile RAV4 Hybrid turn your puddles into playtime. For more, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Just heard from Tez Johnson, a returner on the wide receiver front, and now someone who is jumping into his upperclassman years with Oregon. Josh Connerly has been a key part of this Oregon offensive line for each of the past 2 years, and now is continuing to migrate into even more of a leadership role up front for Oregon. Hearing from Josh Connerly.
After JPJ left this offseason, how's Poncho kind of dealt with that role?
I feel like he stepped up pretty well. You know what I mean? We all just trying to get back into things, get the rest off. Poncho's been doing a great job, though. And, he did a great job all last year, too, because we always switch around groups here and there, You always work with multiple different people throughout the week. They switch up the groups every couple weeks, so you get to work with everybody. So, I've already been used to the way that he does things, so he's been doing pretty well, though.
What about with Dylan in there? New signal caller, not named Bo Nix. What's it been like getting used to him?
It's a lot different. I ain't gonna lie, but it's still pretty much the same though, cause he still got that. He's a lot older, he's a lot more mature. He still got his great leadership skills that he has, and he's stepped up to the plate. And he's been doing the right thing. So yeah.
What's it like for you going up against Jordan in practice? For you talk about good on good and reps that'll be valuable to development and long-term and pros and all that kind of stuff. What's that like?
I feel like it's been like that the whole time I've been here, but especially with Jordan now, just another year under his belt, a lot more maturity, a lot more knowing each other, Like we know what to expect from each other, But I think Jordan gets me better every day. Whether there's some run stuff, pass stuff, it don't matter. He's gonna get me better. So yeah.
Going into year 3 for you, how do you feel like you've changed the most this offseason? What's your mindset going into this year?
Shoot, just be the best leader and tackle I can be. Trying to lead our offense, be number one offense in the country, trying to go get a natty. You know what I mean? That's been my goal since I came in.
What do you think you've improved the most from, your first 2 years to where you are now?
Really just mentally, just knowing everything and being able to help everybody around me. I feel like physically, I've been trying to work on just being a little bit more physically imposing, and showing that more on film. So I feel like that's probably my biggest things to work on and things I have to improve is just being a lot more physical.
What's been your impressions of Bedford?
Oh, Matt Bedford? Oh man, that's my dude right there. Super high energy dude, keeps everybody positive. You know what I mean? Hard worker. He be up here with me in the mornings. You know what I mean? So he's hosted events at his house. You know what I mean? Like he's just like an old soul, but he's a great leader as well, and he keeps the room together.
The standard for O-line play here has been pretty high.
Always.
How does that kind of motivate this group this year with some new faces to kind of get going?
I mean, like you said, the standard is the standard. You know what I mean? It's always been high, and I mean, the motivation was never lost. It's always been there. I feel like we are more motivated than we've probably ever been. You know what I mean? Because you don't have all the dudes that have had 4, 5, 6 years underneath their belt. Like everybody's just like second, third year. I mean, except for Bedford and Marcus and AJ. You know what I mean? Like those are dudes like just 4 or 5 years. But everybody else this is like their second, third year getting into it. So, yeah.
Stephen Jones was such an important piece on the field, also in the locker room. Just replacing that, how do you guys go about that? Is it one person that you look for, or is it collectively? Just
I'm gonna say Steve played a huge role in my life, especially on the field and off the field. Just kind of showing me the way. But I mean, like you said, I feel like it's a lot more collectively, because he played a big role on just not in the O-line room, but on the team. You know what I mean? So I feel like collectively, as an O-line, we trying to just fill in his shoes as far as being a leader.
Just a couple of padded practices so far, but what we've seen from Shaq is just a very large freshman as a guy who's quite physically imposing yourself.
That boy, that's a big human being. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I say there's a lot to learn always. It kind of reminds me of myself mentally when we came in. But I want to say that it's just how it goes. You come in, you don't really know too much. You learn slowly, but I feel like once he learns and he's sure of himself, it's gonna be a done deal.
Have there been moments in practice so far where you see some of those physical traits come across?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's nothing really like super specific, but you can just watch and just be like, okay, yeah, he can be a dude once he gets it there, for sure.
I know you mentioned Burke, but are there any other defensive guys who've given you some really good matchups so far that have been fun?
Everybody. I mean, there's not really a drop off no more, because everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody's been here for long enough. Like Tail been here for a year, Blake Purchase been here for a year, Tim too. You already been here for a year. Like they all got time underneath their belt, game reps underneath their belt. So there's no drop off anywhere.
That's Josh Connerly breaking down Oregon spring practice number 4. Didn't have the chance to get to Justin Jacobs today. Also, we will have Marcus Harper for you from Tuesday. Both of those going to be coming on the show tomorrow. We got to get to a timeout. When we come back, there are some ducks in action on the golf course and some pro ducks. Also with a bat. We're getting to that next on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union, and we have some updates in terms of some scoring from the Augusta National Women's Amateur, where Kiara Romero, she is now 5 over total across her 2 rounds, has just leaned off that blistering pace that she had to start, was the leader in the tournament through the first 9 holes, and, well, if you know Augusta, you know it's a pretty difficult course. Kiara Romero right now currently at 5 over. Yana Wilson at 8 over. She's put together 4 over days in back-to-back days out there at Augusta. And Ashley Park, the other Duck representative, sitting at 14 over par. Those are the 3 Ducks that are currently in action on the links at Augusta in the Augusta National Women's Amateur Tournament. Also, last night, I was watching a baseball game. I was watching the Diamondbacks. I was watching the Yankees play. And it was a great baseball game, first of all, where these 2 teams, they were tied at 2 going into extra innings. 2 runs scored by the Yankees in the top of the 10th. Diamondbacks answer in the bottom of the 10th. And, well, the Diamondbacks had to make a substitution in the bottom of the 10th, which means that they had emptied out their entire bench and didn't have any position players left to come into the ball game. And so that meant when Scott McGuff, Pro Duck, came in to pitch in the 11th. Some calls here and there ended up allowing for 2 runs to come in and score for the Yankees, gave New York a 2-run lead over Arizona. But the Diamondbacks, they came back from a 2-run deficit earlier in the ball game in the 10th inning. They were threatening to do so again in the 11th. They had gotten 1 run across, and with 2 outs in the inning, bases loaded, Diamondbacks didn't have anybody else to substitute into the ball game. Scott McGuff got his first career MLB at-bat yesterday with the game in the balance, bottom of the 11th, and the tying run on 3rd and the winning run on 2nd. A ball that wasn't inside of the show, Chiron, was called strike 3, but it's still a really interesting moment. Ducks are on the diamond tomorrow as well as a whole lot of things. Go Ducks.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheSkin.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose